Hello everyone, I'm Rashmi Mangla. I'm working as an assistant professor for the BBA department of St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. The subject that I'll be teaching today is Human Resource Management. This is our 14th lecture and we are doing the last unit, that is Unit 4. The topics of the Unit 4 that we'll be covering today are performance appraisal, objectives of performance appraisal, parameters of performance appraisal, steps involved in the process of performance appraisal, and limitations of performance appraisal system. Now, when we talk about the performance appraisal, it is a whole process wherein the personality and performance of an employee is assessed by the supervisor or by the manager against all the predefined standards that he has set. For example, the knowledge of the job, the quality and quantity of output that he is giving, his leadership abilities, his attitude towards work. So, the standards can be different depending on different organizations. But the whole process where the personality or performance of an employee is assessed is known as performance appraisal. Let's see in detail. Performance appraisal is the process of evaluating and documenting an employee's performance with a view to achieving work quality, output and efficiency. Now, performance appraisal system performs three important functions within companies. First one, they provide feedback to a person on their overall contribution for a period. Whatever contribution, whatever work they have done in a certain period of time, they are given feedback for it. They identify development needs and opportunities for improvement. If in case there is any need of development for any employee, in case there is any area in where he can improve, so those areas are identified. Third one, they help inform salary and bonus reviews. Whatever review is there about the work that they have done, on the basis of that they get to know about their salary and bonus reviews. Now let's see the objectives of performance appraisal system. Now see, the main objective of performance appraisal is to measure and improve the performance of employees and increase their future potential and value to the company. But along with that, we have some other objectives as well. Let's see them. First one is providing feedback. Now, providing feedback is the most common justification for an organization to have a performance appraisal system. See, through its performance appraisal process, the individual learns exactly how well she did during the previous 12 months and can then use that information to improve his or her performance in the future. See, only when you get feedback that maybe you worked for 1 year, unless you get feedback that you have worked nicely, you have worked on an average basis, your work was satisfactory, until you get that feedback, you won't be able to get motivated to perform better the next time. So, providing feedback is a source of motivation which ultimately leads to the improvement in the performance of the employees. Then, facilitating promotion decisions. See, obviously, performance appraisal is a major factor due to which promotion decisions can be facilitated. Performance appraisal makes it easier for the organization to make good decisions about making sure that the most important positions are filled by the most capable individuals. That means the individuals who are capable of handling the responsibilities well, only they should be promoted to higher positions. Then, next is compensation. Now, performance appraisal, it helps in chalking out compensation packages for employees. We get to know the packages of compensation. Merit rating is possible through performance appraisal. Performance appraisal tries to give worth to performance, that whatever performance you have given, a worth to that performance is given via performance appraisal. Now, compensation packages, which include your bonus, high salary rates, extra benefit allowances, prerequisites, they all are dependent on performance appraisal. Then the last objective is employees development. Now, the systematic procedure of performance appraisal helps the supervisor to frame training policies and programs. Whatever the procedure is there, it helps in framing the trainings and training policies and programs. And not only that, it also helps to analyze the strength and weakness of the employees so that the new jobs, they can be designed for efficient employees, the employees who are efficient, who are good at certain skills. So they would be given the work according to their skills and preferences. It also helps in framing future development programs, that for the future also we can conduct development programs for the employees. So these were the objectives of performance appraisal. Now let's see certain parameters of performance appraisal. See, employees' performance is usually measured in terms of results in time, but there are various factors on which this performance appraisal is done, amongst which the first one is creativity. Now when we talk about creativity, it is not quantifiable. Can we measure it in quantity? No. But it is a very important skill which adds an extra glare to the work. If you are creative, your work will be shown different from the others. You have certain innovative ideas, you have certain new set of, new mindset which you can apply in whatever work you do. So creativity is the most important factor. And an employee can have measured in terms of his or her creative ability. Then communication. Now, if somebody has the creativity, but if you are not able to communicate it to your team, then that creativity is of no use. So creativity is understood and achieved only when you can be able to communicate it to your fellow members or your team. So therefore communication is also one of the parameters to be considered during evaluation. Then absenteeism. Now, to put thoughts into action, whatever you have thought, to bring it into action, you have to be at work. If you are not present, if you are, constantly you take on leaves and you're not able to perform your work well, so that is going to be a negative point. You will not be able to give forward the work as you would have planned. So absenteeism again is a parameter for checking performance appraisal. An employee is obviously not performing when he or she is not at work. When you're not at work, do you work from home? If you've taken a leave, will you work? Obviously not. If you are on a leave, you won't work. So the people who are taking more of leaves, whose absenteeism rate is quite high, so their performance appraisal, their level of performance goes down automatically. And then obedience to company policies. Now it is difficult to be creative and abide by the rules and regulations at the same time, but when employees can align both of them, when you are able to align that you can be creative also and as well as you can follow all the rules and regulations of the company also, then nothing can be perfect like it. It perfectly shows the efficiency of the employee. That employee is so efficient that he's being creative also, he's doing his work well, and he is doing it by obeying all the rules and regulations of the company's policies. Then personal habits. Now personal habits can include the negative aspects also, like talking over the phone for long hours, not being in their seats during working hours, gossiping, sharing tips or recipes during the meetings. So is this a positive attitude? No, this gives a negative attitude, and these are not the signs of an efficient employee. These are all the negative attitudes. So these personal habits also become a parameter to measure employees' performance. Taking initiative. Employees who take initiatives expresses his want to learn and learn more to better his work. Organization always look for employees who are keen to learn. Yes, see, organization always look for those employees who are very eager to learn, who want to explore their skill, who want to learn new things. So these kind of employees are the ones who are going to be beneficial for the organization also, and who want to work for themselves also. So employee performance is also measured on the basis of initiativeness. Then work quality. Now work quality metrics says about the quality of the employee's performance. The quality of the employee's performance deals with the kind of work that you provide, the kind of performance that you show in the organization. That all comes under work quality. Now number of sales. The number of sales is a particular easy way to pinpoint a sales employee's output. If your company, if you are a sales employee, so number of sales, how much output are you giving? That is one of the factors which measures, which pinpoints that how efficiently working you are or how productive you are. So this holds especially true with the simple sales. When you have simple sales, so this point holds good for it. So these are the parameters of performance appraisal. Now let's see some of the steps that are involved in process of performance appraisal system. Now we have 6 steps. First one is establishing performance standards. See, the appraisal process begins with the establishment of performance standards. We first set a level of standards for ourselves. We try to establish performance standards. The managers must determine what outputs, what accomplishments and skills will be evaluated. हम किन चीज़ों को evaluate करेंगे? They should be determined first. And these standards should have evolved out of job analysis and job descriptions. After analyzing and after all the job description, these standards should be taken out. They should be evolved. These performance standards should also be clear and objective to be understood and measured. They should be clear and they should be objective, that they can be easily understood also. Standards should not be expressed in an articulated or vague manner, such as good job or a full day's work. So these kind of vague phrases, they tell nothing. So they should not be there. Then second step is communicate performance expectation to employee. Whatever expectation we are keeping, whatever expectation the manager has set, he has to communicate it to his employees, because they are the ones who ultimately have to fulfill the expectations. So once the performance standards are established, this need to be communicated to the respective employees so that they come to know what is expected of them, ताकि उन्हें पता हो that what is the manager expecting from them. Past experience indicates that not communicating standard to employees compounds the appraisal problem. If you have not communicated the things beforehand, so that would create a problem in the appraisal system. Next one, measure actual performance. Now this is the third step involved in appraisal process. Now first step, you've set the standards, you've communicated that to the employees. Now the third one is, in this stage, the actual performance of the employee is measured on the basis of information available from various sources such as personal observations, statistical reports, oral reports and written reports. From various observations, we'll check and we'll measure the performance of the employee. Then compare actual performance with standards. Now in this stage, the actual performance is compared with the predetermined standards. In the beginning, we had set some standards. So we'll compare the actual performance with the employees given and the standard performance that we had set. We'll compare them. Such a comparison may reveal the deviation between standard performance and actual performance. Obviously, 99% of the cases, standard and actual cannot be same. Obviously, there will be slight fluctuations, slight deviation will be there. And will enable the evaluator to proceed the fifth step in the process. Once you have compared, after that only you can move on to the fifth step, that is the discuss the appraisal with the employer. Once we have assessed, once we have compared, the fifth step in the appraisal process is to communicate to and discuss with the employees the result of the appraisal. And this is in fact one of the most challenging tasks the managers face, to present an accurate appraisal to the employees and then make them accept the appraisal in a constructive manner. First step, you have to tell them about the appraisal. Secondly, you have to make them convinced, you have to make them accept the appraisal. Now, a discussion on appraisal enables employees to know their strengths and weaknesses. Once you have a discussion with your employer regarding the appraisal, they get to know about their strengths and weaknesses, and this helps them, this motivates them in having an impact on their future performance. And this impact, it can be negative also, it can be positive also, depending upon the appraisal, how the appraisal is presented and discussed with the employees. Then the last step is initiate corrective action. The final step in the appraisal process is the initiation of corrective action when it is necessary. See, whenever required to take a corrective action, we will initiate it. The areas needing improvement are identified, and then wherever the improvement is required, wherever we feel there is a need to improve, we'll identify those areas, and measures to correct or improve the performance are taken and identified, and they are initiated. Now the corrective action can be two types. One is immediate and deals predominantly with symptoms. This action is often called putting out fires. The other one is basic and delves into causes of deviations. We check the causes and seeks to adjust the difference permanently. So these are the two types of corrective actions that we can take. Now we'll learn some limitations of performance appraisal system. Now the first one is errors in rating. Performance appraisal may not be a valid indicator of performance and potential of employees. Now, why is not a valid indicator? Because of the following errors that we face. The first one is halo effect. Now, in this case, the superior appraises the person. Person is being appraised on certain positive qualities only. The negative traits are not considered. Such an appraisal will not give a true picture of the employee, and in some cases, employees who do not deserve promotion may get it. See, if the positive points are considered, maybe your negative picture is too wide. Maybe you have a lot of negative points, but they are not being considered. So this doesn't give us a complete picture of the performance. The second one is central tendency. The second error. Now in this case, the superior gives an appraisal by giving central values. Some central values are assigned, and on the basis of that, the appraisal is given. Now this prevents a really talented employee from getting promotions he deserves, and some employees who do not deserve anything may get promotion. So on the basis of an average, a certain appraisal is given to everyone, but this kind of demotivates the ones who are really hardworking, because they expected some good promotions, and when they don't get that, they feel demotivated. And there might be some employees who are not working at all, or who don't deserve any promotion. So when they even get they get an appraisal on an average basis, so they are even happy with that, because they didn't even expect that. So this actually prevents the talented ones from getting the benefits that they actually have to receive. Third one, stereotyping. Now this implies forming a mental picture of a person on the basis of, we stereotype the person on the basis of age, on the basis of caste, or on the basis of religion. We have a predefined image for people. Then personal biasness. We at times are personally biased. We have got personal problems with some or the other employees, which includes favoritism also. So that's also a kind of error. Then leniency and strictness. Spillover effect. Now in spillover effect, what we do is, employees judged positively or negatively by the boss depending upon the past performance, and therefore although the employee may have improved, maybe he has improved his performance, but he may still not get the benefit because he is being judged because of his previous performance only. So spillover effect means an effect which has been created in the past keeps on carrying forward in the present also. So these were some of the errors of rating that we faced. Now we come to the second limitation, which is leniency and strictness. Now leniency and strictness, some bosses are very lenient and some might be strict in grading. Now the employees who really deserve promotion, at times what happens is they lose the opportunity because they have strict bosses. And many times those who don't even deserve, they may get benefits because their bosses are lenient. So leniency and strictness is a limitation of performance appraisal system. Then incompetence. Raters may fail to evaluate performance accurately due to the lack of knowledge and experience. In case you have lack of knowledge, in case you do not have adequate experience, so you might fail to evaluate the performance. Your performance might not be evaluated. Then negative approach. Performance appraisal loses most its value when the focus of management is on punishment rather than development of employees. When your management has a negative approach, when they are focusing on the mistakes done by the employees, and rather than developing their skills so that those mistakes can be corrected, so that they can get to learn new techniques, they can get to learn new technologies to work. So when this kind of approach is there, it is a limitation for performance appraisal system. Lack of knowledge. Now the staff appraising the performance of employees might not be trained and experienced enough to make correct appraisal. When you do not have proper knowledge, when the staff who's appraising the employees, if they do not have proper knowledge, can they do the appraisal properly? No, that's not possible. So lack of knowledge is a limitation of performance appraisal system. Last one is lack of clarity. See, the objective of performance appraisal is to evaluate and develop the employees. An organization should avoid using one appraisal system to achieve both objectives. If we want to achieve both of them, that we need to evaluate also and we need to develop employees also. So, we cannot use one single appraisal system. The particular system of the appraisal system should clarify before it is designed and should be discussed with all the managers and employees to gain their commitment. Any performance appraisal system, however good the design is, it is unlikely to succeed if the manager and employees are suspicious of its objectives. If you are not sure about the objectives, if the objectives are not clear to you, so such system is unlikely to succeed. It's very rare for it to succeed. So these are all the limitations of performance appraisal system. Now let's see a few questions related to today's topic. What is performance appraisal? What are its objectives? Explain the parameters of performance appraisal. What are the steps involved in process of performance appraisal? State the limitations of performance appraisal system. Stay tuned for the upcoming lecture of Unit 4. Thank you.